Welcome everyone to Fairfield Friends. And we invite any visitors to add your names and your emails to our chat if you want to receive links to our meeting. And for the centering thought, there are so many things today to worry about. I have a different worry every day, sometimes several. But my worry du jour is another civil war. In the movie Friendly Persuasion, it's about a Quaker Indiana family, and they're trying to be a witness to peace during the Civil War. The movie starts with a mischievous pet goose, and that serves as the comic relief. The soldiers eventually come to the house, and the lady is as nice to them as she can be under the circumstances. However, one guy grabs the goose and he's getting ready to kill it for lunch. And at that point, she loses it. She smacks him and says, "Don't kill it. It's a pet." And he, backs off. So as I contemplate that, what I learn from it is that when the Civil War comes to your house, be as nice as you can be under the circumstances, but defend your goose, defend your comic relief, for if you do not, your goose is cooked. We will now hear the song, "Come Thou Font of Every Blessing." As I understand it, we're going to be having a reading for Hope and Healing from Sarah Lukaville.
Good morning, friend. I'm generally a positive person. I have a positive outlook on life, but during the last couple of years, there have been occasions when I have just felt totally exhausted, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I see Deb nodding her head, and I'm sure that's happened to a lot of people. Life before the pandemic, we would have occasions, but it's been 2 solid years of just, continual negative stuff going on, it seems like. So I had one of those days last week. And also that same week, I was sorting through some papers and I found something that I had copied off a poster at work many years ago. And it has some advice for times like that. And it's nothing earth shattering. We've probably heard all these things before, but I'll repeat them again. And this is called Be Alive. Think freely, practice patience. Smile often, savor special moments. Live God's message. Make new friends, rediscover old ones. Feel deeply, forget trouble. Forgive an enemy. Pick some daisies, share them. Keep a promise, look for rainbows. Gaze at stars, see beauty everywhere. Work hard, be wise, try to understand. Take time for people, make time for yourself. Laugh heartily, spread joy. Take a chance, reach out, let someone in. Try something new, slow down. Be soft sometimes, celebrate life. Believe in yourself, trust others. See a sunrise, listen to rain. Reminisce, cry when you need to. Hope, grow, be crazy. Count your blessings, observe miracles, make them happen. Discard worry, give in, trust life, have faith. Enjoy, wonder, comfort a friend. Have good ideas, learn, make some mistakes, learn from them, explore the unknown, and hug a child.
Thank you, Sarah. Are there any announcements at this time?
USFW meeting is tomorrow at 11, and all women are welcome if they'd like to join us, and we'd like to see you. And it's on, I can send you the Zoom link if you haven't gotten it.
Any other announcements? Well, our next thing to consider is stewardship. And there's the slide about our Fairfield giving at gmail.com. Since we're in 2022 in January, it's time to kind of look at what's going on in your world and see if you can make a gift. And we do thank everybody for all their generosity and all. So I'd like to at this
Thank you, Lee. One evening this past week, I'd finished my work for the day. Joanne and I had eaten supper. It was too cold to go for a walk, but I wasn't ready for bed. So I went out to the garage to work on my 50-year-old motorcycle and get it ready for riding. There's always a warm, sunny day in mid to late March for which the motorcyclist must be prepared. I raised the garage door just a little so I wouldn't die from carbon monoxide poisoning, then unhooked the trickle charger from the battery, opened the fuel petcocks, adjusted the choke lever, rotated the throttle a few times to get gas into the carburetors, and pressed the start button, expecting the engine to roar to life, except it didn't. It wanted to. The engine was turning over. It just wouldn't catch. To the motorcyclist, the most discouraging sound in the world is a motorcycle that won't start. I tinkered with the bike for a little while, but still couldn't get it going. So went inside and got ready for bed. Joanne was already in bed reading. I lie down beside her and let out a sigh. She asked me what was wrong, and I told her I couldn't get my motorcycle started. Then I said, if it's not one thing, it's another, and sighed again. She nodded sympathetically, then said, life can be difficult that way. Brain tumors, the deaths of loved ones, war, pestilence, mass starvation, and motorcycles that won't start. There's no end to it. It was then I suspected she was being sarcastic. I've been thinking this week about those thoughts and emotions common to us all, one of which must surely be the notion that we are uniquely and unfairly harassed by difficulties. This is usually accompanied by the belief that we should be exempt from trouble. When I couldn't start my motorcycle the other day, I caught myself mumbling, God, why me? As if God should have designed the universe to ensure I never had any problems. It is reminiscent of the prophet Elijah when he was battling the prophets of Baal, another Hebrew deity the Israelites were prone to worship. After this epic fight, when Elijah, apparently not a proponent of ecumenism, slaughtered the priests of Baal on the banks of the Kishon River, he complained to God about the difficulties of his life, saying the followers of Baal wanted to kill him. Imagine that. He reminded God that alone in all of Israel, he was the only person faithful to God. At which point God said, you're not that special. There are thousands of Israelites who have not bowed to Baal. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. If I were asked to write a new version of the Ten Commandments, that little gem would be in the top 5. Get over yourself. Stop thinking you should be uniquely exempt from difficulties. No one gets a pass. Not the rich, not the beautiful, not the kind, not the intelligent, not the young. No one is exempt from difficulties. The notion that we should be exempt from struggle is magical thinking. There is no world in existence in which we are guaranteed protection from hardship. That world simply doesn't exist. It is magical thinking. But more than that, it is dangerous thinking. It is dangerous because it makes us prone to anger when we experience difficulty, and that much more likely to feel we've been robbed of something we deserve. a long and easy life unmarked by travail or hardship. Thinking that is our due, we become vulnerable to those who, wanting power, tell us that our suffering is unjust, that someone is to blame, and that we are right to hate or fear them. And so we store up grievances and fail to live with gratitude. Now, to be sure, some people, indeed entire groups of people, do suffer unjustly. But we know who those groups are, don't we? And most of us don't fall within them. We've been protected by that from our race and our wealth and our status. I had a moment of enlightenment this week. My income has fallen considerably since COVID hit, and I can't give speeches. I was feeling aggrieved by that. And so in this mood, I read an article about the global 1%, how they prospered during the pandemic. And I thought to myself, it's their fault. They're to blame for my difficulties. They should be ashamed of themselves for making people like me suffer. I don't deserve that. And then I kept reading the article and discovered Joanne and I were in the global 1%. Mostly because Joanne is in charge of our savings and not me. So here I was, all angry and upset at a group of people it appears I belong to. You see how easy it is to feel aggrieved or wronged, how little it takes to make us feel we have been inordinately visited by difficulties. We become susceptible to anger and are vulnerable to those who would stoke our anger for personal gain. All they must do is convince us our suffering has nothing to do with the uneven nature of life and everything to do with someone else, some other group that has it in for us. Here's the shadow side of that. Our tendency to focus on our difficulties and blame someone else for them blinds us morally, making us less likely to notice our own participation in the pain and suffering of others. Remember Elijah slaughtering in cold blood the priests of Baal, then complaining to God that everyone was after him. Get over yourself, Elijah. I wish, and I know you do too, that the world were constructed so that everyone who worked hard enjoyed the blessings of prosperity. I wish those who were compassionate received nothing but compassion in return. I wish those who healed others were healed themselves. I wish those who suffered injustice were repaid with justice and equity. I wish those who loved were always treated lovingly. I wish my 50-year-old motorcycle started whenever I wanted and never left me stranded 100 miles from home. But that world does not yet exist. What does exist is grace. Our determination to love others as we love ourselves. And forgiveness. Our commitment to pardon as we have been pardoned. When we get over ourselves, the world we wish existed draws that much closer. Friends, let us enter into open worship.